Welcome back, everybody. Mark here again with ExoticCar PlayPlace. And today we're going to take a closer look at the E60 M5 and we're going to do a practicality test. We already know the supercar performance that comes out of, that is basically delivered by the E60. We also know that because it's a 5 Series, it is extremely luxurious and is not short on options and luxury appointments. But we're also going to talk about the points that make this so practical. How is an E60 so practical? We're going to show you all the little details from my perspective on what this car makes it so practical and balances it out to give it that even balance of practicality, luxury, and performance. So how nasty it looks outside. Very cold, wintry, blustery day here. This is Alberta for you at its finest. So we have snow. Well, what does that really mean? Well, when you drive a car like the M5 behind me, you typically need something that can tolerate these roads, the icy road conditions, something that's not slipping and sliding around. Well, that's point number one. Why is the M5 so practical? Well, I'll show you over here. So, first of all, we go along here. Obviously, we are looking at some summer tires. Well, these aren't very good, are they? Definitely not. We're talking about a Continental tire here. Not good rubber for these roads. But look over here. I have a full set of winter tires. So that means that you can actually drive this car in the wintertime. Why not? You know what? Yeah, it's a performance car. It's basically a summertime car. But who says you can't drive in the wintertime? It'll still start in the cold weather. All BMWs start because of the synthetic oil and all the other features that they have. They also have a lot of things that keep you safe, like traction control and all those fun deals that keep the car on track. So you put winter tires on it, why not? So that's point number one, what makes this thing so practical. Now number two, okay, beautiful car, no question. But guess what? Look at this. Now disregard the mess. But that mess is actually going to be used for something right now. We're actually going to get set up for a party and I've got the trunk full of stuff. So this is point number two. The practicality is the storage space. Take a look at all the junk that's in the trunk, pardon the pun. But here, let's take a look. I'll show you. Look at all this stuff. You can fit a lot of stuff back here. And again, since we're on the topic, always carry that extra quart, the extra liter of oil. That's typical for an M5. Move inside now. So we know that we can drive this car in the wintertime. That's one part of the practicality test. The trunk has tons of room. That's another part. Well, let's go into the back. Let's see what we have in the back seat of this car. Well, if you look around here, okay, so here's the next part of this test. If you look, we actually have seating for 3 people. That's a lot of space in here. And not only is it for 3, it's wide seats. It's a lot of room for 3. It's not just cramped. See, like I can get in here. Ah, yeah. See, now I get in here and you can slide all the way over. Now you have room over here. You got room. Seat 1, seat 2 in the middle, and then you've got me over here in this third seat. Lots of room here, right? So that in itself leaves for a lot of practicality right there. So that's another point why this car is so practical. So the next thing, what makes it so practical, pardon the cold weather here. It's actually right now it's about minus 30 degrees Celsius, which puts us probably 20 below here in Fahrenheit or so. I don't know, something like that. I'm just trying to do a quick calculation, but it's cold. Let me tell you that much. I'm pretty much ready for a warm southern vacation. But anyway, let's move right along. Another thing, and it's happened to be sitting right in front of me here. Let's take a look. It's this little dealio. This was an option. We noticed, and I showed you on one of my other videos, this was an option that was purchased by the original owner because here. So somewhat practical. Do you need this? No, but it sure is handy if you're A person, maybe a doctor, lawyer, and you work downtown and you need a place to hang your suit coat or just your jacket or whatever while you drive so you're not getting it all wrinkled. You have something like this, little provisions like that. Now we go down here, look at the foot space. There's actually a lot of room. Like, I'm actually fairly extended here. My legs are quite extended. They're actually quite extended out. And there is a lot of room in there. A lot of room for the feet. And it's actually very comfortable in the back here. So as you can see, the seat space here, or the knee space, is actually quite reasonable for a person who, like myself, is around that 6 foot mark. I've got a lot of room back here. I've got a lot of head space, if you look at that. I've got a lot of knee space, no problems there. And you know what? You've got headrests, you've got a lot of elbow space here. Look at all this room. It's so practical. It's actually very comfortable for the 3 people in the back seat. Now we have other things back here that, again, make it practical. How is that? Well, practicality and comfort can actually be hand in hand, and this is part of that. So if you look down here in the middle, so we go down here, and what do we have? We have options like aux in, but more importantly, when it's cold like it is today, you have heated seats back here in the back. Not just in the front, but you actually have heat in the back, and you have separate controls. If you're one of these people that you have kids that want to play video games or they want to plug in little extras, they can plug that stuff in back here. There's no need for you to suffer for lack of practicality. This car, not only, like I said, has a lot of luxury items, it definitely has a lot of cool little, luxury and practicality type items like that. So let's move out of here. Let's take a look at the front. Let's climb out. My fat belly. We'll take a look in the front seat here. Let's climb in. Oh yeah. So now we're in the front. And then we start talking about some of the features here that make this car kind of practical. So let's take a look. Right here, we look at the dash. Press that little button, out she slides. Boom, out she slides. So you've got 2 of these cup holders. One is kind of, obviously for a passenger, but it's kind of interesting how the passenger has control over both of these, and the driver really effectively is stuck at the mercy of the passenger. The passenger says, no, you're not drinking, they close it up for you. Anyway, so that's that. Nice little handy job. And up until a few years ago, Porsche didn't even have cup holders in their cars. Probably other manufacturers as well. Now you look at the glove box. Very, very large. Large and in charge. You got lots of room back there. CD changer. Very convenient. And just a plethora of other... Whoa, look at that. That's what that is, guys. We'll get into that another day. But anyway, let's move right along. Let's close that up. Very spacious. You've got room on the sides. If you look across over here, what we actually have is lots of space on both sides, both doors. The seats are very spacious. And of course, we talk about these cars having the active side bolsters, but we can talk about that in another video. For now, loaded with options, cruise control, and what you have is dual climate control here. This is another feature, so the driver can operate one, the passenger has yet another one. And that's great for those people that kind of have their own way that they like, their own temperature levels. So you have options there. You also have heated seats for both the driver and the passenger. And you have other features like the backup alarm. So obviously, if the weather's really poor, and the snow conditions are, you're snowed over and, you want to drive this every day, it's nice having features like backup alarm. It makes it very practical. I mean, when you're driving a Lamborghini, it doesn't matter. You only drive the car maybe once a week or less. So you don't need a lot of those things. You're just extra cautious. But a car you daily drive that is ultra practical You want things like this because you're driving, you're parking regularly, frequently, you're moving around a lot. And then we have other features here, right? Obviously, loaded-in options. Now, what we have, because this is an 06, you can tell this is the older version of the iDrive. Whatever, not a big deal. But a lot of functionality works out of here. But if you want to look at practicality, look at this. So, we got an armrest for the driver, and this is basically an armrest for the passenger. But if you pop that button right here, there's a button, it releases this. Whoa, look at that. Cool. So you've got a little cubby here where you can store things, obviously. So you have a little cubby there for just whatever. You have some change or whatever, little items that you don't like to roll around too much. But then you actually have another layer. This is where it gets fun. This is where you stash all your little goodies in here. Sorry, pardon the dirty here. This is just, yeah, guess it needs a little detailing, doesn't it? But anyway, you have another little space in here. So you have a fancy little vent so stuff doesn't get moldy in there, I guess. I don't know, whatever that's for. Just keeps ventilation in here. And then you have another little cubby. Look at this little dealio. So we can slide that up. What do we have down there? Hidden little gems. So you close that up, and lo and behold, you have your storage. There's two other things this car passes on the practicality test. Number one, it has run flat tires. Now, a lot of you guys don't love those, and if you've seen other videos of mine, I've talked about that. But from a practicality standpoint of a lot of people not having to want, or, you know, maybe you've got a wife, you don't want to have her changing tire by the side of the road, and she's driving the car. This does have run flat tires, so what that leaves you in a position of not having to worry about storage of a spare tire or maintenance of that spare tire, or worrying about changing that spare tire. And the last thing that is also great on the practicality side is where you charge the battery. Now, these cars are typically, you know, at least in this case, is stored a lot. It doesn't mean you have to, but it means that if you need to charge your battery, the battery access point is very accessible. It's actually under the hood. A lot of cars, you have to kind of undo a bunch of different parts and take some covers off, and then you're connected right to the hot terminals on the battery, and that becomes kind of an unsafe condition. But here you can actually tie your jumper cables or your leads onto a nice, safe, clean junction under the hood. I'll show you. Right there. So what you have is you have a ground post for your negative, and then you have the positive, which is actually connected up here, and it has a nice safe little insulated package around it, or basically a little plastic cover. So that's super. Very easy to get at, very accessible, and you know, it's very practical in that sense. So everybody, I hope you liked that video. I just wanted to share with you the E60 M5 can actually be a really practical car. So make sure you do share, like, subscribe to my channel, and we'll talk to you on the next one. Thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye.